Hola amigos de Rock You Hell, les habla Jackie Roque. Hoy tenemos la tan esperada entrevista a Crimson Glory. Hoy tenemos aquí al cantante de la banda, a Todd La Torre.
Hola mis amigos, este es Todd La Torre de Crimson Glory. Gracias por su atención y por su apoyo leal.
Okay Todd, we're gonna begin this interview. This is the first question. You start from a very early age messing around with instruments including the drums. When you find out your voice was your hidden treasure?
Yes, I started playing guitar at 10 years old, and then at 13 is when I got my first real drum set. So I joined my first band when I was probably 14 or 15 years old, and we always had trouble finding singers, so each of us would kind of try out singing on our little demo tapes that we would make. But I always was a backing vocalist. I never really sang lead vocals in all the bands that I played in. I would sing lead vocals on my own personal music, but never had the experience as a front man singing, lead vocals for a band. So I guess that it was really a hidden treasure that is finally being revealed, and I'm really enjoying it a lot. I'm very happy that the bands are pleased with what they're hearing, and the band is very pleased, so things are great.
Your family were music lovers and you are exposed to different music genres. When you decide to focus on metal?
Yes, there was always lots of different types of music being played in the house as I was growing up. Anything from Billy Joel to Cat Stevens, Fleetwood Mac. Then you had a lot of R&B and Motown stuff, some contemporary jazz. It wasn't until I heard the very first Dawkins record that I really was captivated by the sound, and primarily it was the power chord with riding on the low E string, kind of that crunchy rhythm guitar sound. That was when I really, the first time I had heard that guitar sound with the riding and the real crunchy guitars. I just loved it, and so that was really the beginning of my wanting to look into other bands, and that was really when I got into, really went from rock and roll to heavy metal.
Yeah, that's a good sound. Well, Todd, how you were selected by Crimson Glory?
Well, one of my very good friends, Matt Laporte, who plays for John Oliva's Pain, was rehearsing with Crimson Glory in preparation for the Prog Power concert that was in Atlanta, Georgia. Crimson Glory was headlining Friday night, and it was a memorial tribute concert to Midnight. So he had been rehearsing with the band, and Matt and I did a couple of things musically together. He really liked my voice a lot, and I think that he thought this would be a really good opportunity to meet the band and possibly have the opportunity to become one of the guest vocalists. There were like 17 or 18 guest singers, and he talked to John about me several times. Finally, the opportunity came up. John said, hey, call your friend Todd, get him down here, and that's really how it all started. And then after the first night that I was down there, at the end of practice, John invited me to come back the next day. That was when I met Wade, and he and I hit it off very well together. He was really cool to me, and basically I was asked to kind of help with practice. I wasn't even selected to be one of the guest vocalists at that time, and then everything just kind of started to fall into place, and I was asked to be one of the guest vocalists at that concert.
Okay. Midnight represents the mystic image of Crimson Glory. Do you think you can represent that well as Midnight did back in the beginning?
That's a really great question. Midnight did such a fantastic job with that mystic image. Back when the band first started, as you well know, they all wore masks, so it was mysterious. No one knew what they looked like exactly. Then they went to the half mask. So, we're looking at a different time as well. Part of that mystic image was the fact that you didn't know what their face looked like. Well, 25 years later, everyone knows what the band looks like. So I think that the mystic image will still be present, but it's really going to be about great songwriting, great lyrical content, and then, of course, the emotional delivery in the vocals. And so I think that those are the key elements that make Crimson Glory so unique and so special to the fans. So we'll just let the fans decide, and the music will stand on its own merit. And I believe that that can definitely be achieved.
In Astronomic album, Wade Black, the Crimson Glory singer of this time, was the comeback after many years' absence. What do you think about the sound that the Crimson Glory achieved with him?
Well, I think that the Astronomica record is a great record. It's definitely very bass-driven. It's much more aggressive and heavy, and also because of Wade's style of singing, it's grittier. It's a different type of singing, and I really like the record. I think it's some of the hardest stuff to sing for sure. But you know, the fans, I think, were expecting something along the lines of Transcendence. They got Astronomica. It was very well received. And people have to remember that bands don't want to write the same record over and over and over. They want to try new things. The first two records had a unique sound. Astronomica had its own unique sound. Even Strange and Beautiful was a different sounding record. So I think that the fans should remember that as an artist, you don't want to regurgitate the same sounding stuff. It's not 1986 anymore, and bands need to grow musically. But yes, it was a different sounding record from the classic Crimson Glory sound. But Crimson Glory wrote the music, and they found a great singer at that time to do it. And I think Wade did a fantastic job with it, and I know that it was very well received. So I overall, I think it sounds great, and they all did a great job.
Your first operation was as the Black Power USA. How was the response of the people with, the new Latin vocalist, such an important band, and your responsibility on your shoulders to satisfy those who have been following Crimson Glory at the last 25 years?
I think that the response from the people was very positive. I was the undiscovered person, so all of the other vocalists were very well known within the progressive metal genre. And, you could YouTube or Google all of those singers and find stuff. So when they tried to find out what I had done, there was nothing for anybody to hear. I was a little nervous because I was on stage with some great singers. But when it was all said and done, I think it was received very well, and I was proud to be a part of it, and I felt that I did a very good job on stage with the band.
Since you are arriving at the band, the word has spoken. On the talk about the new guy, they even compare you such stars like Rob Halford or Midnight. We all know that Owen Reaper, the Judas Priest band singer, started his fame and career in almost the same way as you. How you see the future to come and the big step up in the elite of being of one of the best heavy metal singers?
Well, I guess the story is a little bit similar to Tim Owens. If people want to consider me as one of the best heavy metal singers, I'm truly flattered. I'm honored that they will hold me in such high regard. I always know that there's room for improvement, so I'm always, I'm very critical of myself. So I'm always looking for ways to improve certain, aspects of my singing that I think need work. I don't think the work is ever done. And all these great singers that we admire and respect have multiple records under their belt. They've got tons of exposure and experience as a frontman. That's all changing for me now, so I'm very excited to be doing shows live, and we're working on the new record. And so I think once the exposure is there and more people get to hear me sing, then that's really, I think, what kept me in the shadows for so long. It's exposure. And if people want to classify me as one of the best heavy metal singers, then that's truly an honor.
Which are your favorite songs and artists? And mean your main influence.
Well, when it comes to singing, my main influences are the obvious choice: Bruce Dickinson, Jeff Tate, Rob Halford, Ronnie James Dio. I've always liked Michael Sweet's voice also. So, as far as singing goes, those are my main influences. But I have other influences for different reasons. I love Pantera. I love the aggressive power groove metal. I'm a big fan of Heart. I think that their songwriting and singing is awesome. Their harmony vocals. I like Boston. So there's a wide range of different styles that I really like. Fleetwood Mac is one of my favorite bands. My influences for singing are obviously the power metal vocal style with the heavy vibrato and the high screams, and obviously the key is the emotional delivery.
Who is Todd La Torre when he's not surrounded by lights and stage?
I'm a pretty private person. I don't really go out and socialize to many parties or gatherings too much. I think from all the years of playing in nightclubs, that's usually not a place that I want to frequent, just because of all the commotion. Occasionally I'll get out and check out some live music. My wife and I will go see a band that's playing, and we'll see some friends, local musicians and stuff like that. But overall, I like to be home doing my house projects or working on music, spending time with my friends and family.
Okay, Todd. Any chances for the fans to see the Crimson Glory back with the silver mask?
Well, I know that a lot of the fans would like to see that. We have talked about it. All of the guys, we've briefly touched on the subject, but I think that it's not out of the question by any means. But it would have to be all of the circumstances would have to be just right for us to want to do that. But it's not out of the question by any means. So we'll just have to wait and see, and maybe you'll be surprised.
And Todd, what about the new Crimson Glory album?
We're hoping to have the new album written, recorded, and released hopefully by the end of next year, 2011. Next year marks the 25th anniversary of the band, so the timing really would be perfect for us to make that happen. So that's the goal.
Well, Todd, I must question you something. Can you sing for us a little part of Lonely?
Lonely? Oh boy, you're putting me on the spot here. I'll probably never live this down, but I'll give it a shot. She wakes up to another day with everything going wrong. She wonders where she would be if she had never seen his face. Okay, that's all you're getting. Well, in closing, I'd just like to thank all of the Crimson Glory fans out there. Thank you so much for your loyal support. We really appreciate it. And also a special thank you to Orlando Diaz, Marcela Ardila, and Jackie Rocket. You guys are awesome. Enjoy. Have a great new year.